Welcome to Wine Food Flavour. Today we're talking to Kevin Judd from Greywacke Wines about some of his favourite food pairings he enjoys. Big thanks to the wine station here in Blenheim for letting us use their tasting room for the interview.
It's something that Marlborough's needed for a long time. It's an opportunity, it's a one-stop shop opportunity for visitors to the region to have a good look at a whole bunch of different, very, very thorough cross-section of Marlborough's top wines. You can get in the car and you can go around the wineries, and certainly, you wouldn't want to just come to Marlborough and taste wine here. You need to get out and sort of to soak up a bit of the atmosphere and the landscape and the various personalities of the wine regions. But this provides an opportunity for people to taste a whole lot of stuff and wines that may not be available in the cellar doors, and it's a very well executed venue. Sometimes food can improve. I think if a wine can't stand on its own, then if a wine needs food to be a good wine, then something's missing. You've missed something in the winemaking process. I don't think wine should necessarily need food to be consumed. But quite often the combination of the wine and the food makes it the sum of is more than just the sum of the two parts, and sometimes it's even a combination of that and the atmosphere and who you're with and all the rest of it that makes a truly amazing wine and food experience. In terms of wine and food experiences, what are your most memorable? Probably one of my most memorable moments was sitting on the banks of Sydney Harbour on a Sunday afternoon with a bag of prawns that we'd bought from the Sydney fish market and a bottle of Tautani Rosé. It was just a memorable combination that just will never leave my brain. It wasn't about a fantastic wine, it was just about a moment and a flavour of two very simple things. Depends on the style of Sauvignon Blanc. I think with food and wine pairing, it's not a precise science. And what works well, sometimes it's just a serendipitous combination. Sometimes the atmosphere, sometimes it's more about the moment than it is about the wine or the food. But and Sauvignon Blanc, what goes well with Sauvignon Blanc? Well, Sauvignon Blanc comes in various different shapes and sizes, and the two styles of Sauvignon Blanc that we produce are absolutely chalk and cheese, and they work with completely different types of food. The classic, the Greywacke Sauvignon Blanc, our more classic style, I think of as more of an aperitif. It's more of a summer wine. It's great with white flesh fish, salads. It's good with raw, less cooked, less saucy seafood dishes. Whereas the wild Sauvignon, being more textural, more savoury, sort of tends to suit more creamy, rich shellfish, fish. But it's also a style of Sauvignon Blanc that can also work with lots of other things. It's a more sort of, it's in some ways more food friendly, and that it's more versatile because it's not quite so crisp. And one of my favourite Pinot partners is lamb. You can't go past a bit of sort of medium rare lamb with a bit of Pinot Noir from New Zealand.
Is it barbecued or good on Sunday roast?
No, I think perhaps no. I don't think not so much roast lamb, but one of the nicest matches I've ever had is like a lamb rack or something with a bit of rosemary or something like that, and with a nice fragrant Pinot Noir can be very delicious. The classic Pinot Noir match that everyone around the world talks about is duck, and of course that works well. Whereas, and once again, it depends a bit on the spicing and how things are cooked as to what works and what doesn't work. But I also think that the Pinot Noir that we produce in New Zealand or in Marlborough, or certainly with the Greywacke style, it's not big, muscular red wine. It's It's not lightweight by any means, but it's a sort of it's a sort of red wine that can also almost sort of work well with sort of like a tuna steak or something, a barbecued tuna steak, that sort of thing. So it can work. It doesn't have to be red meat. Well, the style of dessert wine that we make is not super sweet. It's about 120 grams of residual sugar, so it's not super sweet. And if you try and put that with anything anywhere near chocolate or caramel, you will absolutely kill the wine, because the sweetness of the dessert will just take all the sweetness from the wine, and it will make the wine taste less luscious. So if you are going to put it with dessert, it needs to be something that doesn't have a lot of sugar. So we're talking perhaps an apple tart or something that hasn't had lots of sugar added to it, or a fruit-based dessert, or panna cotta or something like that. Or alternatively, don't even try and serve it with dessert. Serve it with some cold meats or pate or cheeses or something like that.
Does it pair well with any type of local cheese?